Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ebony. I'm a furniture artist and I specialize in taking neglected pieces of furniture and turning them into something beautiful. Now, you're going to want to stay tuned to the end on this one specifically because I don't say this often about my own work, but these took my breath away. So with that being said, let's jump right into this furniture makeover. Now, I've come across several sets similar to these nightstands here, and normally there's a peg underneath the drawer. You press it down with a flathead screwdriver, and you can remove all of the drawers. Unfortunately for these, that was not the case. I had to go ahead and remove the entire backing. Trust me, I looked at these through and through. They were screwed in. This was the only way. And there was a lot of junk in there. I heard a lot of jingling around. So in a second here, I'm going to show you everything that I found, including a receipt from 2007. And that let me know that there was tons of dust in here that needed to be wiped away. So I'm going to pull out my shop vac and just get everything all the way together. So the bottom of this nightstand had like some mildew and mold growing. I think it was water damaged. I'm really not sure, you guys, but I scraped all of this off and I primed over it with a Ben shellac primer. Please let me know what you would have done in this case, but I think that took care of it. Next, I'm going to go ahead and clean the entire piece. I decided to use a TSP substitute. I typically would use Dawn soap and warm water, but you can really use anything, well, any degreasing product that you have. I like this one because there is no rinse required. It was very important to me to go ahead and fill in these lines on the top of the nightstands. So I'm going to do that using Bondo, as well as I'm going to fill the hardware holes. And also, I just want you to keep in mind that sometimes you have to work in layers with Bondo in order to get like the finish that you're looking for. I believe I did 3 layers of Bondo here. And then of course, sand everything back. I do my scuff sanding with the 120 grit sandpaper, and then you're going to wipe all of your sanding dust away. Now for primer, as you may know, I typically use Ben shellac primer. That is my favorite of all time. It's stain blocking, odor blocking, and bleed through blocking, okay? And so with that being said, I am going to spray it today, which is not something I always do. It's very tricky to get your spray gun cleaned out afterwards, and it's just a whole thing. So in order to clean my gun, I have to fill this with ammonia, spray that out in a bucket. I get my ammonia from the dollar store, and then you're gonna disassemble or unassemble your paint sprayer and get it all nice and clean. So next you're gonna sand everything back again just one last time to get a smooth finish. I like to use a 400 grit sandpaper. That is my all-time favorite sanding grit. There's nothing that compares to it, I promise you. So here I was trying to show you how I assemble my paint sprayer, but all of my clips were blurry and it just wasn't coming together. But the main thing I want you to see is this gauge. I definitely recommend. It lets you know the pressure in which your gun is spraying at once you pull the trigger. So here's where things kind of went for a curveball. I was going to paint everything white originally, which is a color I hardly ever use, as I thought it would look really pretty. I was wrong. And so as far as the tops, this was just a mess. I think there was some oversanding that happened, as well as some water damage on these nightstands. So there was a lot of bubbling that you can see there. And I knew I wanted to try a marble effect. So let's talk about this. So I went over all of my options: faux marble painted tops, epoxy, marble remnants. This was just the most effective thing for me. So look on the left, I'm just folding it over similar to how I do when I line my drawers. And then that's how I started off the paper. Once you get it attached, you're just gonna slowly smooth it across using your, gosh, I always forget what this tool is called, so I'm going to call it a smoothing tool. You'll see that in the very next clip, and you're just going to pull the backing and slowly do this all the way down. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did have a few air bubbles on one of the nightstands, but once I mastered this effect, it was too late and I had ran out of paper. So yes, it took me several tries to get it figured out, but I did figure it out eventually. I would definitely try this again, but if I do, it would have to be on squared corners because that was the next issue I had. So you're going to take your hair dryer and just stretch the paper over the corners. It's similar to like when you wrap cars or anything that you wrap. It's kind of the same technique. However, these rounded corners gave me such a headache, and I just had no choice but to do like a cutting and pasting situation. I'm not the proudest of it, but I'm going to show you a side by side of what it looked like before and what it looks like after I did my cut and paste. It looks okay, but it definitely isn't perfect, and I will factor that into my cost. So I'll show you guys here what that before and after is going to look like. Crazy. I did some patchwork. So I cut it and paste another piece on top of it, and I tried to blend it to the marble. It's really hard to see, so I think I did okay. It starts. So I found this beautiful color called Jet. This is from Dunn Edwards, and I loved it. I don't always love the color choices right away. Sometimes I have to see it in different lighting and sleep on it. But as soon as I got this paint onto these nightstands, I was like, oh, she's a baddie. Yeah. So I did 2 layers of paint, and this is Deco Glow. This is a semi-gloss finish, which is becoming my new fave. And I really like this paint. It's growing on me. I used to have another paint that I like swore by. Still love it, but I'm also liking this one too. And it's really affordable, and it comes in quart sizes. So next I did all of my touch-ups, added the hardware, added my scripture, of course, and next it's time to get into the reveal. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the back to this nightstand off camera and whatever else needs to be done, and you're gonna see the final results here in just a second. Like I said before, I just absolutely love the finish of these. Let me know your thoughts down below. Super excited to be back, you guys, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Thanks for watching.